Hey everybody, welcome to Climb the Ladder for our 149th episode presented by Washed Up Network. I'm your co-host Hunter, and my equally good-looking twin brother Duncan is right here with me. Thank you to everybody who's been tuning in each week. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes and Spotify. Plus, you can see two of the same face when you head over to YouTube. This episode is brought to you by Rugged Roots, who brings us the best in beard products. Use code LADDER20 at ruggedroots.com for 20% off your purchase. As always, let's climb the ladder. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 149. We're one away from the big one that we keep talking about. So
Cheers to that.
Yeah, give it a little cheers. Got the mascot here for anybody watching on YouTube. That is not a black mat, that is a black lab. Exhausted from a run. But yeah, we've got some good sports updates, kind of an around the horn episode today, talking about our second round playoff Kraken, a little bit of Mariners update as always. We'll get into a little bit of NFL draft highlights and specifically talk about the Seahawks success. Grade A, I believe they got to, which is awesome. And then a couple segments to round it out. But Hunter, you got the hat on. Let's give the people a little Kraken update. The team, the expansion team that now in their second season are in the second round of the playoffs.
Man, people around the sound are hyped. It was actually pretty cool. We don't have a beer league softball segment today, but at my game last Wednesday night was game 5. And we won that at home, and it was cool. One of the guys in the dugout had the game on their phone, and we were in the bottom of the 7th, and we were losing, and like nobody really cared about our game because it was in the final seconds or final minutes of the Kraken game 5. So we won it at home. So we said that our team sacrificed so that they could win it in Seattle. And then the Kraken dropped a stinker on Friday night, and then had to go back to Colorado, which I think made the victory even sweeter. Won game 7 in Colorado against the Avalanche. Every ESPN analyst had the Avalanche beating the Kraken and moving on, which is just insane. So yeah, people around the sound are hyped. There's a lot of chatter. It's like, I mean, dare I say, it's like Seahawks going to the Super Bowl or that season playoffs chatter. Like, people are all about it.
I love that, especially because, well, we had to prove that we were a hockey city before the Kraken could even have the chance to go. And I think they were supported pretty well. I've still never been to a game in person, but I hear that Climate Pledge is just rocking all the time. And I've heard even now, and that was last year. And so this year, the fact that it's still rocking, I've heard there's been multiple sellouts. The playoff atmosphere has been amazing there. I think it just goes to show Seattle's a great sports town. They've got really good support for whatever team is there. And it's pretty dang cool to see them go back and forth, Colorado and Seattle, and get some good victories. And the Avalanche were definitely a favorite in that series. So the fact that they upset them and now they are going back and forth, Dallas and Seattle, and hopefully coming out ahead, that'll be pretty dang cool if they can keep moving on. And again, I think the fan base just showing that they're behind them and that they're here to stay. Hunter was even saying before we started that Alaska has special flight deals. What was it, $100 flight?
Yeah, $100 Seattle to Dallas, now through May 5th, which is pretty cool. I mean, get the people there.
Yeah, I mean, rather than like, oh man, it's $400, I don't want to fly. It's like, well, $100, gotta go see the boys.
And early boarding if you wear your Kraken jersey, which everybody has. I don't know how, because it's like we think the NFL jerseys, they're like $100 or whatever. I feel like hockey jerseys are like $150, and Everybody has one. I saw a lot. Um, I saw a lot recently. Oh, skiing. I went on Sunday for the last day of the season. 60 degrees, nice day. Um, and there was a ton of Kraken jerseys because they just won on Saturday night. And I don't know if I had never seen it or noticed, but a lot of people have the jerseys from last season with the inaugural 2022 season patch on their chest, which is really cool. Maybe it said 21. I don't know when the hockey season officially starts, but
Yeah,
I guess
that's pretty
21.
sweet. I mean, yeah, that's one that they'll always have. And I do agree. I think they're more expensive, but even driving through downtown last night here in Boise, the Steelheads are, I think they're actually a Stars affiliate, minor league, but they're in the playoffs for the West Coast Hockey League. And everybody had a jersey on, and I'm like, this is for a minor league hockey team, and everyone's just repping. So maybe we just got to get on board.
Yeah, that's nuts. I know. I mean, it is cool. The only bummer, which again, not even trying to pump it, but I listened to the Kraken game on the radio on I guess Saturday night. No, no, no. On Thursday night, whatever night it was. Friday? Yeah, it was Friday. Um, but yeah, can't watch it on TV, which sucks. Root sports, baseball and hockey have to figure it out. Like
Yeah, we got to burn them
football and
down.
basketball is so accessible.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Um,
Well, end of the first period of game one in Dallas, the Kraken are up 4-2. They've actually scored once since we started recording. So, um, good hot start. They have a lot to play for.
yeah, that's big coming right out of the gates in the first period. So playing tonight in Dallas, they're playing on Thursday in Dallas, and then kind of cool. We get well, I wish there wasn't a 3-day gap because it um seems like Seattle gets shorted a little bit, but on Sunday the 7th, Dallas will come to Seattle, and then on Tuesday the 9th, come to Seattle. So we could win it. It's cool because yeah, we could win it in Seattle on next Tuesday, best of four. Or if we have to force it, then we go every other. Next Thursday would be back to Dallas, and then we would get a Saturday night game six, and then it would end if we had to do a game seven in Dallas. So there's multiple chances to win and move on, either in game four or in game six in Seattle, which I think would be super cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Um, Kind of cool. Both the Kraken and the Mariners are playing at the same time tonight. They're wrestling for Root Sports airtime, which I'm sure is given to the Kraken right now. But the M's are in hot water, I'd say. Fourth place in the AL West. Of course, don't sound the alarm. It's really close. The Astros and Angels are tied at 16 wins, and the Rangers are atop the West with 17. So we're leading off. We had Monday night off, starting on Tuesday, 3 games against the A's, which we better sweep. They have 6 wins right now.
Yeah,
Um,
there's no way that we can go in and lose any games to the A's. We're coming back, or we're back home now, right?
Nope. Last of the road trip. So we
Oh, one
traveled
more.
from Toronto to Oakland. I actually saw a cool tweet. It said that on the Mariners charter plane from Toronto to San Francisco, the it was on, I guess, Saturday or no, Sunday night. That's when it was. That's why my schedule was all messed up. Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Um, so yeah, my earlier statement a little bit incorrect. Timeline figured out. Sunday night, they traveled to San Francisco to fly in and play Oakland, and they had the game on, and everybody got the news. And I guess some guys were trying to sleep or something, but the plane went off when the Kraken sealed the victory on Sunday night. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, they continue the road trip with the A's before they go home.
Gotcha. I see that. And then they get back to back Texas teams. They've got Houston and uh Texas Rangers back to back at
We have to
home.
win all three of the next upcoming series because they're all division opponents. Those are huge.
Yeah,
And then we
that's a
go right
big,
back on the road.
yeah, big lineup going into a road stand. And yeah, don't sound the alarms yet, but we are 5 games out of first place. Again, long season, but we don't want to get to the spot where we fall further and further behind to where then we're getting questioned about the playoffs. Why are the pieces not correct? Because we don't have to be the best team. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. But if we're 28 games in right now with only 12 wins, not a great percentage. We can't just keep that being the trend, get to the all-star break and then try to climb out. We need to get some momentum going into the all-star break this summer so that we have a chance to come out strong. And the Astros are always contenders. The Angels looks like they're staying healthy and they're staying relevant. And then obviously the Rangers at the top, I think are going to be our biggest problem this year. And so we've got to take it into our own hands and we can't keep dropping series.
Yeah, for sure. Um, well, an exciting thing with the Mariners, little shout out, Kelnick is still at the top. He is just riding it. He finished, I think his slash line in April had a 345 average, something crazy like that. Um, but welcome back, Taylor Trammell. I watched him quite a bit last year in Tacoma. He was ready to go to start spring training, and then he got hurt. So that's why he's missed the beginning of the season. But he got the call, flew to Toronto to join the team, and he hit his first home run of the season was a grand slam.
Oh man, I saw him make a really good play in the outfield, but I didn't hear
Yeah,
about
then
the
he
grand
followed that
slam.
up.
Man, I love that. He was fun to watch when we saw him a little bit last year. I know he battled injury a little bit, but he also rocked it in Tacoma. So it would be super cool to see him stay for the season and really make a name.
Yeah, and the M's just optioned La Stella, I think.
Yeah, I think it was La Stella.
So that definitely frees up space in the outfield or to keep him in the lineup as a DH option. Um, and also, I guess Julio has had a couple back things kind of flare up. So also opens up the outfield. Hey, if he's going to play for it and he's showing up, like, I love it. Love to see him out there.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. Well, um, continuing on with the M's, probably the biggest deal and the biggest win of their season so far was the Nike City Connect uniforms that they announced and unveiled last week. I believe they debut them this Friday at home, and wanted to get just a little uni review. It's not often that you get a new uni in the middle of the season, and so I personally, I mean, I'm biased, but I think that the Mariners have a great lineup of uniforms. If you remember right, it's either 5 or 6 is the max now. And so they actually dropped their away grays going into this season because they have so many awesome alternates. So yeah, give me a little City Connect feedback. What do you like? What do you not like? And
Yeah,
how do you think they'll look in action?
I did see that. It's funny that teams have to be capped on number of combos or jersey colors, but because I mean, classic modern era Mariners was the navy blue, white, and away grays. Um, and then the last couple of years, I think when Nike took it over from Majestic, that sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, of course, they brought in the Friday night teals and then the Sunday cream colored. Um, and yeah, I'm not bummed that they went away from the grays. The cream are okay. Um, I the only reason I really like it is because they wear it on Sunday. I think like in my head, it's kind of like wearing their Sunday best. Like, I like that approach. I don't think I would like it on any other night of the week. Um, but yeah, anyway, the Connect, it's sweet. That blue pops, the yellow, nice tribute to the Pilots, who was Seattle's team before the Mariners, and then obviously the Trident logo era in the 70s and 80s. Um, Absolutely electric. I love it.
Yeah, I think it's cool too. I know there's a lot of controversy around the black pants, but I think I like it out of the gate, and I think it'll grow on me too. I like that they went totally different from what they currently have, which I think was important. And it recognizes a lot of the Mariners' history and how baseball got to Seattle. So I think it's cool. I don't think, they're not going to wear it all the time, but I think if they rock it, I think they're moving it to their new Friday night uni, which will replace the teal that was typical on Friday night. So I'm guessing teal will move into the away rotation along with the navy, which is their standard away uniform without the grays. I do like the Sunday creams because I think it's kind of classy. I think it's different. That also has the other blue and yellow, which is kind of cool, but they're more the modern take. But yeah, I love the variety that they have now. I think it was a very intentional design, from the font to the trident hat, like you said, and then emphasizing blue, yellow, and black, which has not been in the uniform before. Going back to the Rainiers that they had, the steelheads it said. So kind of some cool different baseball roots all on this uniform, and I think that they'll look pretty sweet in action too.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. It definitely brings something else. I feel like it's cool, kick off the summer. So yeah, I'm excited to see it. And if I can find the game on at a bar somewhere, I'm excited to see it on TV.
Yeah, same. Well, let's hop outside the diamond and hit a little NFL draft recap. Obviously, some big highlights with Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Jalen Carter, all those guys going in the top 10 as everybody knew they would. But I think focusing in a little bit on the Seahawks, they had 10 picks, which was awesome. And I feel like for once in our lives, they finally didn't blow it. And so, got
And
the
trade it all away.
yeah, and trade them all away and trade out of the first round. Um, a few surprises, but overall, I think they knew what they were doing. Got a nice variety of young talent, and I think a lot that we'll actually see on the field already this fall.
Yeah. To just mention, of course, like probably the top three, top five. Well, before it got to our number five, I guess, which was sweet. Um, Bryce Young, uh, first pick in the draft. There was some speculation, but I think he was the best out there. It was mainly because of his size, but a lot of comparisons with Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, whereas those quarterbacks never would have been even a afterthought, let alone first overall. So that was cool. Go to the Panthers. Kind of scary. They worked with Cam Newton, good threat running quarterback. So we'll see what he does there. But yeah, any other mentions before the Hawks?
Um, Not in the early rounds, but Boise State did have 6 players, either undrafted free agents or draft picks that were signed. We had Scott Matlock, who signed in the 6th round, and I believe JL Skinner was in the 5th, or maybe they were both 6th. But that was kind of cool to see. And then yeah, 4 more that were signed right after as undrafted free agents, which I think it's still so cool. And I saw an article a few years ago, and people were like, it's not the end of the world if you don't get drafted, because there's only what, like 250 people that get drafted. And you hear stories all the time where someone was undrafted free agent, they live on the practice squad, and then they, move up, and when their name's called upon, they make it happen. So, um, But yeah, let's go down the list quick on the Hawks and a little bit of highlights. Obviously, the big pick was number 5 in round 1 that we got from the Broncos, adding a surprise pick at cornerback with Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's been getting a lot of airtime. I've seen on Twitter quite a bit. Um, yeah, there was a lot of speculation. Um, and I never heard his name in any of the scenarios with the, I don't know, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, all that. Um, and I guess Mr. GM had some different thoughts.
Yeah, and they turned right back around and went to the offense, added Jackson Smith and Jigba from Ohio State. People I think were surprised he fell to number 20 because he is a really good wide receiver. I think he was one of the top in the draft. And so adding that to DK and Tyler Lockett, I think is unfair for most teams, and I think it'll give Gino another good target. And then yeah, a few more on the
Well, I
defense.
mean, and I just have to say, for having 2 round 1 picks, and the Seahawks aren't going to see a number 5 for a while. Thought we were going to go with a linebacker or a defensive end was the big thought. So then round 1, pick 20 to not follow it up with one of those was
True.
very surprising. But I think that Jackson Smith and Jigba will be a huge asset.
I think so too, and I'm glad they did come right out of the gates in round 2 and grab an outside linebacker, Derek Hall from Auburn. Um, and then another surprise was the UCLA running back. But as I read into it more and saw the Twitter conversation, looked like we only had 2 on the roster. Ken Walker, who's
Yeah, I'm
obviously
not
in
surprised.
his sophomore season, and then DJ Dallas, who's kind of a special teams third down back. So made sense. But yeah, a few defensive additions that will be key. Obviously, Derek Hall, and then we got Cameron Young and Mike Morris, D tackle, D end, and then also some help on the offensive line.
Yeah, I like to see it. There's a really cool video of the Hawks' last pick in round 7 of Kenny McIntosh getting the call from Georgia. Um, just super cool, really emotional. And hey, I mean, got to stack up some running backs. We've seen the Hawks go through 5 in the first couple weeks with injuries and everything. So you never know. Give a guy a
Yeah,
shot.
it's not a bad idea. It definitely wasn't on my wish list, but the more that I see it, the more it makes sense because we haven't had a stable running back. Ken Walker was finally giving some promise last year. Rashad Penny, we drafted out of San Diego State a few years ago, obviously didn't turn out how we thought. He wasn't bad, but he was just injured. So adding 2 young running backs to a young running back room. Hopefully, we can see some of that on special teams, slot wide receivers, but just keep legs fresh.
Yeah, no doubt. Um, well, Dunk, bringing it back inside the diamond. Um, I'll just own this one. No feet this week. I knew it would bite me, but I said it. I had to. Clayton went down so bad. He had like a negative 30 point by one of his pitchers.
Mm.
And I think after 3 days, I said, thanks for the win, Clayton. And
Yeah,
yeah, I
that's
lost by I lost by 8 points, so that was tough.
that's rough. Just looking at our standings, and 8 points in fantasy baseball out of like 300 is pretty brutal.
Yeah,
But it's kind of anyone's league right now. Someone's got to take Colton out. He's the
that's me this week.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe you can make it happen. He's the only undefeated team, and we've got 4 people at 1-3, and then we've got a couple 3-1s and a handful of 2-2s. So it's kind of anyone's game. I think the challenge for me will be fighting the fight all the way through, trying to check it as close to daily as I can. But what I am pumped about is a feat this week is I was 0-3 going into last week, and I came out with a win against an undefeated team, so that felt really good. Um, and I figured out just trying to get my pitchers in rotation, try to get them early from free agency, and then not be too attached to anyone and just keep cycling them through. And I actually didn't win by a whole lot. Um, so I think that it worked. I was just on it just enough to win, and so, hey, if I can get
Nice.
whatever the $200 pool is at the end of the season to pay for my, fantasy football dues, I will take it.
There you go. Yeah, I think that my problem is I usually check it in the morning, but I need to check it like 10 a.m. because I check at lunch and people are already playing, and then if you make any additions, you can't play them that day.
Yeah, that's one thing that I don't like is if you get them a little bit later, you have to wait a day, but I'm trying to really focus on pitching. I feel like if you have a healthy regular lineup, it'll be okay, but pitching I think makes or breaks the big points that you can earn or not earn. Because I used to like last year I just sat on it and I'd be like, all right, these guys are up, 5 days and then kind of rotate them through. But I'm trying to get pitchers in almost every day if I can, at least have two or three starting at a time. So see if it pays off. It's definitely a marathon.
Yeah, no doubt. I know I'm looking at mine right now, and I have come on, guys. I need to see some production, but yeah, I gotta swap people in and out. I feel like trades aren't worth it because guys carry so much value and the season's so long, and you never know who's gonna bust out. So
Yeah, you just gotta stay on the free agency, I guess.
yeah,
All right, Hutch. Well, let's wrap it up with one of our favorite timeless segments. Hit the spot. What have you had in the last week that, man, when you ate or drank it, it just hit the spot?
I do have a win for that one this week. Um, First burger and first dog of the season.
Mm.
Had the housewarming party and Hannah's birthday party. Huge outdoor barbecue, 75-degree Saturday in April in Washington. I mean, doesn't happen. It sounds like a dream, and it kind of was. But man, we flew through 2 sleeves of burgers from Costco and all 3 packs of dogs from Costco. We underestimated. Dad had to run to the store and get a couple more sleeves of burger patties. But dude, that first burger of the season with a nice cold, I mix it up with Coors Light and Miller Lite. Top two, obviously. Man, no better combo. That's it.
So good. Yeah, I had my first summer grill burger a couple weeks ago, and man, it was just so good. I'd say for me, we did some grilled chicken fajitas last weekend. Mandy's mom and grandma were in town, and we kind of based it around this local hot sauce that we got at the farmers market. It was like a trying to think how to describe it. Think like a spicier Cholula meets like an aioli type of thing,
Oh.
like kind of a creamy hot
Yeah, a
sauce.
little thicker.
I don't know what it is. It's definitely got some kick, but it literally says on the bottle just the right amount of kick. And it's so true because it doesn't scorch your mouth. If you had a lot of it, it would, but
Yeah,
it adds the perfect heat, even if you're someone who doesn't love spicy. Um, and it's creamy, so it's not like brutal in your face. It's kind of like that slow burn. And we tried this at the farmers market on Saturday, and we're like, we got to do something with this tonight. So we bought a bottle and then got the fajitas going, got the grilled chicken marinated in some verde all Saturday, threw it on the grill, and then, tossed it in some peppers and onions and topped it with that local Boise creamy hot sauce. That just
nice.
hit the spot. Like there's nothing like a good homemade meal that isn't, it's kind of out of the usual. And then I think sauce can make or break it. So I need to look and see what that was called, but that's some dang good hot sauce.
Man, that sounds so good. It's cool when you can just take something to start it and just go.
Yeah, just turn loose. Well, I'm very excited. I feel like 150 is the biggest and best deal that we've had. 50 was cool, 75 was cool, 100, but episode 150 coming out next week. We're working on something cool for it, but we'll be back here as normal. And then in just 2 weeks, Hunter will already be back. I feel like he was just here in town, but got probably one of the biggest events of the spring, which will be the Luke Combs concert, featuring a whole host of openers on the blue turf. Just going to be an electric weekend.
Yeah, man, I'm so excited. I can't believe it's 150 already. Just super ready for it. Big. I feel like we just did episode 100. Like
I
I can
know.
remember doing the calls. Like man, it's flying, but it is a lot of fun. We're almost to the 3-year anniversary next month, which will be really cool. But yeah, lots in store. Really excited to be in Boise for Luke Combs. See you, see the gang. It's gonna be a good time. Feeling like summer.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's already here, 150, and summer's coming, and I feel like that anniversary of CTL being in June, I mean, one, it reminds us of where we were 3 years ago right now, in the, early stages of the pandemic, a lot of unknowns, but to see how far we've come, being able to root on the hockey team that we didn't even have when this podcast started, seeing the Mariners make the playoffs, seeing the Geno Smith transition, like, there's been so many cool things in the last 150 that it's cool to kind of recognize those achievements and different sports milestones, but also press on, for what's to come. So, yeah, fun to kind of go around the horn today with a bunch of different sports. And yeah, excited to come back next week with a whole bunch more.
Yeah, definitely excited for it. Um, a little shameless plug on behalf of Duncan because I know he won't say it, but Duncan has a blog. So everybody
Mm.
should subscribe. You can get it weekly in your inbox. Just a little bit of inspiration, motivation. Just hey, like everybody scrolls on their phones all day. Why not take 5 minutes and just read something uplifting, something different? So Duncan, just say what's it called and how people can find it because it's refreshing to open up in the inbox.
Yeah, thanks. Tried to do something that, yeah, like Hunter said, literally a 5-minute read or less, but something that's just kind of positive to change up all the crazy and bad news that is on social media these days. It's called Saddle Up. So if you type in either Saddle Up Duncan Robertson or Saddle Up Substack is the platform that I'm using. But hopefully that'll pop up with one of the posts. Free to subscribe. Goes to your inbox every morning that I write one, and so if you like it, I'll try to get them out more. And yeah, just something to try to spread a little more positivity, inspiration around for your day.
Yeah, that's awesome. We need more of that. So yeah, thanks for doing that and putting that out weekly.
Yeah, just trying to be a catalyst so other people can spread even more. So, yeah, if you guys would want to hear, anything on the CTL side, Hunter and I can always, give a little sports update, in written form, or always trying to figure out more videos and stuff to put out. So, also working on a couple merch items, we'll put out some pre-orders for some stuff to see if you want to direct purchase on any of that. And yeah, hopefully we'll have some updates on that next week.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks everybody. Gearing up for episode 150. Can't believe it. We're ready for it. Here we come.
Yeah. All right. Enjoy the week, everybody. Stay safe out there, and we'll be back next week.
As always, Dunk,
Let's climb the ladder.
let's climb the ladder.